Ah, traveler, it's always good to see you. I have a tale, if you have time to listen.
The boss is dead. The lantern is still burning, and for the first time since waking in this nightmare, someone remembers who they used to be. Chapter 12. Audience with the Goddess. Rodney stood trembling in the ruined courtyard, the greatsword heavy in his grip. The Gravewarden's corpse had dissolved into drifting green motes that spiraled upward and vanished into thinning fog. The air felt lighter than before, not safer, but less suffocating, as if something immense and ancient had finally stopped watching him. Footsteps rustled behind him. Rodney spun, blade raised. Frank stood at the edge of the clearing, not hunched, not muttering, not rocking beside an imaginary lantern. He stood upright, back straight, head lifted, eyes focused. His filthy rags still clung to his frame, but the vacant, foggy stare was gone. Something bright and painfully human flickered behind his gaze. Frank exhaled shakily and rubbed a hand down his face. "Holy hell," he whispered. You actually did it." Rodney didn't lower the sword, but his grip eased. "Frank?" The older man nodded slowly, as if confirming the shape of his own name. "Yeah, me. For the first time in... God, I don't even know." He looked down at his hands, turning them over like they were new. "My mind's been carved up for so long I forgot what thinking clearly felt like." Rodney stepped closer. "What happened to you?" Frank let out a raw, humorless laugh. "What happened? The Gravewarden happened." He motioned at the cracked stone and scattered debris, the arena where Rodney had died screaming, twice. "That thing was my death over and over, and every time I died, the fear hollowed me out a little more. Memory goes first, then hope, then your own damn name." His fingers twitched, as if remembering the feel of clutching his knees in terror. "But now?" His voice softened with disbelief. "Now the fear's gone. Just gone. When you killed that thing, something in my head clicked back into place." He looked up sharply, tears forming but refusing to fall. "You brought me back, kid." Rodney swallowed. "I didn't try to." "You didn't have to," Frank said gently. "Surviving here is enough." He stepped closer, eyes narrowing slightly as he studied Rodney. "But you didn't walk back from the lantern the same way you died." Rodney stiffened. Frank tapped 2 fingers over Rodney's heart. "You're carrying a shadow, a version of you without fear, without guilt, without hesitation. I've seen it before, in myself, in others." Rodney whispered. "Rod." "So he has a name," Frank muttered darkly. "Yeah, figures." He paced a few steps, hands on his hips, grounding himself. "Listen closely, because nobody told me this, and it cost lives." Rodney lifted the greatsword to brace himself. His hands trembled slightly. Frank took a breath, steadying his voice. "Back home," he said softly. "I wasn't alone when I died." Rodney's heart dropped. Frank's eyes unfocused, not hollow, but remembering. "We were in a car. Rainstorm. Hydroplaned. I remember shouting, then the headlights of a truck coming head-on. Next thing I know, I wake up here, in this graveyard. And my friends, my whole high school gaming crew, woke up here too." Rodney's lips parted. "Truck, coon," Frank continued, voice rough. "We'd stayed close after graduation. Weekends, game nights, tournaments, the whole nerd package. Those idiots were my family." He swallowed hard. "And this realm swallowed them." A tremor passed through him. "I watched them die their first deaths, watched them come back at the lantern, watched fear hollow them, watched the Gravewarden kill them again and again until they forgot who they were. forgot me, forgot themselves. Rodney stepped back without meaning to. Frank's jaw locked tight. They turned into monsters, kid. Real ones. Not zombies. Not these shambling puppets. Creatures that skulk in the fog. That whisper your name while wearing a jawline you used to laugh with. Rodney pressed a hand to his own chest, nausea rising. I ran, Frank whispered. I had to, because once my friends were hollowed, they weren't my friends anymore. They were predators, and I was prey. He wiped his eyes with the heel of his palm, angry rather than sad. So when I say I don't trust the goddess who brought me here, believe me, I have reasons. Rodney breathed out shakily. You think she did this on purpose? I don't know, Frank said. I don't know anything about her except she sent me here with no weapons, no guidance, and a beast waiting to devour me. If that's divine compassion, I'll pass. Rodney looked toward the temple. But I need her. I need to know what's happening to me. Frank nodded once, slow, heavy. Yeah, you do. He placed a steadying hand on Rodney's shoulder. And I'll stick around. I'm not going in, not yet. But I'll watch her. Someone needs to. If she's trapping you the way she trapped me, I'll know. He turned toward a cracked retaining wall near the temple stairs and climbed up, settling into an old position like a soldier at his lookout post. I'll recon the area, he said. Watch for movement. If anything tries to crawl out of that fog, I'll shout. You go get answers. Rodney hesitated. Frank, why help me? For the first time since waking, Frank smiled, small, bitter, and painfully human. Because my friends didn't get help, and because you brought me back from a place most people disappear into forever. He shrugged, gaze scanning the graves. And because if you lose yourself in there, someone ought to be around when you come stumbling out. Rodney gripped the greatsword more firmly. Rodney finally looked down at the weapon he held, the Gravewarden's massive greatsword, still humming faintly with leftover soul heat. He gripped the hilt with both hands and lifted. His arms shook immediately. Come on, come on. He tried raising it into a guard stance. The blade didn't budge more than a few inches before his shoulders screamed and his knees buckled. Rodney nearly toppled forward under the sheer weight. Frank snorted softly from his lookout perch. Kid, that thing weighs more than you. Rodney huffed, embarrassed and stubborn. He braced, tried again, this time pulling it toward his hip like he'd seen greatsword users do in games. Nothing. He couldn't swing it, couldn't even lift it high enough to pose a threat. He could carry it, sure, dragging it behind him with the tip clinking against the stone. But wield it? Not a chance. Frank crossed his arms. That weapon belonged to something built to crush people like us. Don't get cocky. I wasn't, Rodney started. You were, Frank said flatly. It's okay. Next time, Rodney steps through the temple doors. The goddess is waiting, and whatever answers she gives won't come for free.
Wasn't that interesting? Now don't forget to subscribe for more.
And ring the bell for your server.